was gonna make a joke about, like, riding in on a hoverboard, but I don't even know where to begin with that, honestly. What's up, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So, like a lot of you, I too have caught the Crossworld bug. I have been absolutely obsessed with Sonic Racing Crossworlds. It is the most fun I've had with a karting game in a long time. Emphasis on a long time. Mario Kart World is cool and all, but Sonic Racing Crossworlds kind of has my heart right now. I've already put in way more hours in that than I have on Mario Kart World, but we're not here to talk about that. With my obsession, naturally, I've come to become excited for the future of this game, considering the fact that Iizuka and the team made it very clear that as long as this game wants to be supported by us, they will go out of their way to support it. And they've already gone out of their way to showcase so many of the different things that we're going to be receiving throughout the next couple of months in regards to DLC, when it comes to all the new stages, all the new characters, and those crossovers, and things like that. And we just have just so much content to look forward to, and I'm really, really excited about that. That being said, most, if not all, of the DLC characters going forward so far are all crossover characters. Nickelodeon, Mega Man, Pac-Man, and all that good stuff, and that's totally fine and dandy, of course, but there is still a lot of characters within the realm of Sonic in of itself that I'd really like to see make its way to this cast, because, again, this is just this fun, stupid little spin-off situation, so it kind of surmounts to, why the hell not? Why not add some of the characters that I have listed here? So, you already know how it goes. I have a nice little list of characters here that I would like to see added to Sonic Racing Crossworlds. So, let's go ahead and jump right into that. First character that I would love to see, just because it would be a lot of fun, Chip. Yeah, you heard me. I want Light Gaia in my game. Because why not? Here's the thing, right? Why do we have the Werehog and Unleashed stages and Unleashed music, but we're kind of lacking when it comes to a couple of elements here, right? I mean, Chip is kind of a irreplaceable element when it comes to Unleashed, and, you know, I get it. You could definitely make the argument that Light Gaia and Dark Gaia are wrapped up, they're gone, but I mean, we have the stage in Unleashed showcasing the Phoenix, which is very clearly overtaken by Dark Gaia, meaning, you know, King Donpa utilized his machinery to recreate certain situations. So, I mean, if the Werehog can be a racer, I don't see why Chip can't be a racer too, you know, just for the fun of it. It doesn't even need to be the same voice actor, but I would love it if they got Homeboy back. That would be absolutely brilliant. But, you know, when it comes to DLC characters, none of them have voices anyway, so if we're just not even going to give them voices, fine, whatever. But I would love to have Chip as a racer, because I think it would be absolutely adorable. And I would love to see him as a boost character. We need more boost-based characters, because the only one that I could think of right now is Miku, which is crazy, right? So, yeah, we definitely need more like that. So I would love to see Chip as a character. After that, I think it would be just so raw to have Emerald or Gemerald from Sonic Battle, or, you know, from the notes of Professor Joe Robotnik. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have that bot, preferably the Sonic Battle. That's Gemerald, right? So I would love to have Gemerald as a character. I feel like the interactions between him and Cream could be really, really cute. I feel like Gemerald has had a pretty good standing when it comes to the Sonic franchise. We've seen him in Sonic Battle. He even made his way into the anime Sonic X. So I would definitely love to see Gemerald as a character. I think it would just be a really cool, like, additional robot to have alongside the Eggpon and Metal Sonic and things like that. Sage, if you want to counter, but not really, obviously. But I think that would be really, really sick. Omega, of course, you know. I would love to see that conglomerate of robots get, you know, bigger. So I would be super happy to have Emerald or Gemerald, either or, as a character. They have the exact same build. One of them is just named a little differently. That's all it is. So it could be either or. It really doesn't matter. Preferably Gemerald, because that's the one that has history from Sonic Battle. So that would be my next pick. I know you all hate him, and, you know, if we're honest, I barely have an attachment to him, but I think it would be really funny to have Infinite. I don't care. I would love to have Infinite as a part of this roster. I think, right, I truly do think they are capable with cooking with his rival dialogue if they really wanted to go all out and do something with that, because that would be so much fun, right? He's so edgy it's ridiculous, like try hard edgy. So I feel like, you know, his situation, like the way he would interact with the cast, he could be so aggressive, and it could make for such a fun dynamic, you know what I mean? Even though I know he's obviously a villain or whatever, we have Eggman in there too, you know, like, we could have fun. We could have fun. It doesn't really need to be all that serious. So, yeah, I think it would be absolutely hilarious to have Infinite as a part of the cast. Fight me on it if you want. In a very, very similar vein, oh my god, I would cry laughing if we got Mephiles as a character. It's insane. Trust me, I know. It's insane, right? But the fact that, you know, they've went out of their way to acknowledge Sonic 06's existence multiple times throughout the series and make sure that we do know that even though it technically didn't happen, the events of it are still canon, right? So Mephiles being here wouldn't be the craziest thing of all time, especially because we literally just had him as a boss. Like, them going out of their way to design an entire boss fight surrounding Mephiles, even though he technically didn't exist or whatever, didn't happen, is crazy to me for Sonic, or for Shadow the Hedgehog, right? Or for Shadow Gens, excuse me. So, I think it would be sick to have Mephiles and Mephiles dialogue, if we could get it. If we're not going to get Mephiles dialogue, fine, just give me the character. You guys don't have to go that crazy, but I mean, y'all did go out of your way to get Robbie Draymond to voice Mephiles, which I personally think he did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the situation is when it comes to Dan Green being a potential voice returning, or a potential returning voice actor for some of these characters, and that's totally fine. I like Robbie Draymond as Mephiles. I think he could cook in the rival dialogue. That would be so sick. But again, most likely none of the DLC characters would be getting voices anyway, so we may as well just utilize Mephiles. Y'all have a brand new model that you cooked up for him, just use it. Like, I feel like that would be awesome, honestly. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I do have Wisp and Tangle listed here, but I don't know as much about them as I would like to admit, right? I do think that they are, you know, mentioned enough and fan favorite characters amongst the series to at least be acknowledged in some way, shape, or form, and I think it would be fun to have them as characters in Sonic Racing Crossworlds. So, you know, I'm not going to speak too heavily on them, but it's another one of those situations where I think, why not? Right? Why the hell not have these characters present in some way, shape, or form for this game? You know what I'm saying? Mention the comics a little bit more. Bring in more characters. Let's introduce a bigger cast. You know, we've had the same exact cast for so long now. We don't even know who the main, like, cast is anymore outside of Sonic. You know what I'm saying? Now it's Shadow. Now it's Amy all of a sudden. Now it's just like, all right, well, you know, if we're going to bring in whoever, you know, let's toss in Wisp and Tangle in there too. You know what I'm saying? In a very similar vein. Surge. Of the comic characters, Surge is the one I definitely know technically the most about for the most part. I just love her design. I love her character. She's so much fun, and I feel like, you know, her developments wouldn't make it too crazy for her to be an additional part of this cast. So I think it would be a lot of fun to have Surge as a character in this game, especially like for the closest thing we have to a mainline spin-off situation that we have going on here. I feel like this would be a really good way to introduce, like, newer players. Like, this is a very heavily played Sonic game right now. Like, one of the, like, most consistently played Sonic games by and far, as according to Steam, right? So I feel like it would be very, very interesting to introduce a character like Surge into the mainline games through Sonic Racing Crossworlds, because enough people will be seeing that character, be like, oh, her design is sick. Like, what's her situation going on? Like, that would be really sick, and that could be a way to get people to, you know, really delve more into the comics and learn more about her as well, in the IDW and stuff. So I think Surge would be a really sick additional part of the cast. I feel like that's a pretty obvious one though, but, you know, I'm gonna throw that in there anyway. This one's crazy. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna just say it. I think Maria would be hilarious. But thinking about it now, no, never mind. Let's not even do that. Let's not even do that. I think Chaos would be really, really interesting, right? You think about all of the villains that we have on this roster right now, amongst Eggman and just Zavok and the other one, Zaz, whatever. If we're gonna be throwing in villains willy-nilly, why don't we have somebody like Chaos? I feel like that'd be fun. I feel like the animations could be really sick. Him turning into like little globs of water every time he does a trick or something like that, or when he uses certain moves or whatever, he's like reforming when he comes out of the drill or something. I think that would be raw as hell, no? I don't know. I just think that his presence in the Sonic franchise is, it shouldn't be ignored. So, I don't know. That's where I kind of stand on that. I would definitely love to see Chaos as a character. I think it would be really fun to have that, like, that first form of him as a playable character. And again, you know, it's not like he talked or anything like that, and his presence wouldn't be the craziest thing of all time. So, just why not, you know? Who cares if it messes with the canon? Why does the canon matter in a spin-off? It shouldn't. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Next along, I think that Chao should be a playable character, right? I feel like their presence is pretty integral. I know that they're usually served as the audience, but I think we could have a situation where we have like an original like Chao character with like racing goggles and like a scarf or something like that, just for fun. You know, the Chao are a pretty integral part of the entire franchise, and especially now like with their history, you know, embedded into the story. Why not? You know, why not? So, yeah, I think it would be really, really cool to have, like, an original Chao character. You don't even have to decorate it all that much. I just think a Chao would be really cute. And that could be really cool as, like, an accelerator type or a speed type or something. That'd be really, really sick. And then the last two that I have on my mind for now, they kind of come in a package deal, so I'm just going to say them together. Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. We had a whole situation with them in Sonic Mania, you know, as playable characters. They had their own little DLC dedicated to them, and, you know, people enjoyed that enough. You know, that was kind of a reminder that, yeah, these characters exist, and they're very lovable. You know, they have really fun designs. I like them a lot. Why not? You know? And it's never been, like, they've had voices or anything like that, so if we were to get them as DLC, it's not like, you know, we need to give them rival dialogue or anything like that. I feel like them just being present would be enough, you know. Mighty the Armadillo is more of like a power type maybe, and Ray as a speed type or an accelerator type. They fit. I feel like they fit the roster perfectly fine, and I don't think they should be ignored for that. So yeah, I think they should definitely have a chance to, you know, show their stuff on the battlefield, or the track, rather, I should say, not the battlefield. That's crazy. But regardless, my point still stands. I think that they could be a really cool additional part of the cast, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. That being said, I've gone through my list. I'm sure that there's characters that I have not mentioned yet. So if you can think of anybody that I might not have talked about that you definitely think deserves a chance to be on this roster, then by all means, tell me who you're thinking. Which is why I'm passing the mic over to you, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that my list here definitely should be considered amongst all the characters to be added to the roster for Sonic Racing Crossworlds? Wow! Sonic Racing Crossworlds, do you think that any of the characters that I mentioned could be a really fun addition to the cast, and you would definitely see yourself playing as them if they got added as, you know, a little DLC, free DLC drop here and there? Or do you think that I'm insane, none of these characters should come to the game for canonical reasons or otherwise, and it's an actually pointless endeavor? Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.